Hey folks, how you doing? Dave the Maverick Beekeeper. What a first season. Wow. So my intention really on this video is just to go through a quick recap of exactly what's gone on. And it has been an unusual season for us, being our first one, and it's had its, how can I say, incidents where things have happened that's totally unexpected. So one of the first things was, starting from the beginning, that we went down to North Wales to pick the nucleus up on the 25th of May of this year. So the installation of the nucleus to the main hive was on the 26th. We managed to do that. So everything went well. We got them settled in, fed them and all this sort of stuff. And they did come on really, really well. So to a point where I was happy with their progress. We did get lots of drawn comb as well, which was useful for next season, which I'll talk about in a minute. So we got that far. Then things started to go a little bit awry, I would say, in so much as when we decided to split the hive, we thought we were in a good place. So initially the hive was split, as you know, from obviously the top corner here. You can see that we put it into a Maverick 6 frame mini hive, if you like. So we put that in there, ordered the queen in, and this is where it started to go a little bit wrong, if you like. And again, I'm going to admit that things did go wrong. We received the queen late. She was in the post longer than I anticipated, up to about 3 days, which worried me. Because of the heat wave at that time, and certainly in our area in Scotland, which is unusual, it concerned me. So she was installed, we did the introduction, which was done over 7 days or so, obviously making sure that the actual hive, or the nucleus at that time, in the Maverick was hopelessly queenless. So queen got introduced, 7-day period. Then obviously we popped the cap at the end, and she was released after 48 hours. So in the initial inspection of that was okay. You know, there was brood there, she was laying eggs, and she was quite productive. I did notice that she seemed a lot smaller than my main buckfast queen in the Queen Elizabeth Hive. But again, you do get smaller queen bees. So after that, going through the inspection regime, the first problem that we found was we couldn't find her on the 7-day inspection, which was worrying. So that was the first occasion. On the second occasion, I did spot her, and she was going okay. On the following one, by this time we were going into probably late August, and when I opened up the Maverick 6 framer, the queen wasn't there, and to my horror there were supersedure cells there, quite a few. So that was the first problem. So then I thought, okay, we're in trouble. I couldn't find her. Obviously the bees in there decided that she wasn't up to scratch, and of course one of the cues for us was a lot of chalk brood on the bottom, vented bottom, where there were chalk brood mummies everywhere. So straight away I thought there is a problem. Now normally, as we all know, that chalk brood is normally a genetic problem. So the bees had sensed that. From what I can gather is probably she absconded or was killed. So then the next problem was, we thought, right, we've now taken a step back. So I was disappointed because the queen that I bought was not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. So that got me a little bit. However, we decided in the end to merge the small hive into the main Queen Elizabeth Hive. And we're now at a point where the treatments have been on. They were in the small hive initially, and also in the main Queen Elizabeth Hive. The mite drop was significant on when we first put them in the first 24 hours. The strips are still in at the moment, are due to be taken out around about the 10th of October. So they will come out, and the plan will be in early November I will give them a round of oxalic acid treatments over a series of 5 days until I believe that the mite count is under control. There's no reason why it isn't now. Looking at the bottom tray, the indications at this early stage are good. So we've finished 1-to-1 sugar syrup feeding, and now we're on to 2-to-1. The weather in Scotland has changed completely. Yesterday I believe we had sleet and it was fairly cold, but temperatures have been yo-yoing up and down, certainly in Scotland. So I have to be mindful of this and go between and make sure that the feed regime suits the weather conditions. There's no more forage left that I'm aware of, maybe some ivy, but not much. So feeding's been one of our priorities. So the next stage of feeding that we're going to do will be looking at in the early part of November is putting fondant on the hive, on the crown board. Crown board's designed in such a way with the bellow hives that it can fit in there without using any eeks and things like that, so that's quite convenient for us. So that's the feeding side of things covered. Now what I have done as well is left a majority of the honey produced in the summer on the hive, so that's theirs. They worked hard for it, so I'm giving it back to them. We'll also go the addition of the fondant, and they should have plenty of food to sustain them at least till the early part of next year, the 2023 season. The IPM, Integrated Pest Management Plan, is on target. So the first being the apivar strips put in mid-August, and they are due to be removed around about the middle of October. So we're then going to leave them till the end of October, where the feeding will continue with 2-to-1, again weather depending, being the yo-yo in temperatures, etc. So we'll keep an eye on that, food levels, etc. We'll try and get most of the manipulations done early so that we're not disturbing them, to let them get on with producing winter bees and getting down into the correct cluster to survive the winter period. So the other part of the IPM is oxalic acid treatment, which I'm going to do in November over a series of 5 days. Depending on mite load, as I say, I'll be monitoring the bottom tray to see what levels we're looking at once the first batch of oxalic acid treatment is on and completed. So I'll keep doing that every 5 days, should they require it. So that's what we're looking at. We should be able to set them up good then for the winter period. So moving on slightly, change of subject, branding. We are going to change the name of the channel. Currently you're accustomed to the Maverick Beekeeper. We're going to align that with our Facebook page, and it's going to be rebranded as Arbroath Bees by the Sea. It just gives continuity for us. So when we go into like our endeavours, i.e. expanding and taking over apiary areas that we're looking at, then we'll just try and keep it on a level par. So that's that. Just another point on the apiaries, as you're aware, the bellow hives that we're using are very costly at the moment. So I've been looking around and I've found that the Swenty hives, the national type Swenty hives, are good value for money, and they give you a lot of extra kit with them, i.e. things like queen excluders, bottom trays, and all the stuff that you need to set up a hive. So for me it makes sense, because I'm finishing here in Qatar and be moving back to the UK. I'll be working in the UK, which means the cost of living, as you all know, is really expensive at the moment. So I need to be a little bit thrifty. It's not in my nature normally, however, needs must. So I have to do that. So really that's about it. Just keep an eye out for the rebranding. Don't let it throw you, because again, it's just to bring continuity. It's still the same channel. I'll still produce videos as and when. As we speak, there's another video being produced. It's my son Cameron, who's back in the UK looking after the hives. He's just keeping an eye on the amount of brood being produced and the brood areas. So I'll throw a wee video out. It'll probably be one of the sort of late videos, or the last of the late videos, if you like, prior to the winter season and the bees getting bedded down. However, what I will do is obviously cover the oxalic acid treatment. A lot of you have seen it all before. I'm using a gas vap, which is slightly different. I believe it's enough for the amount of hives that I have currently. So that's it. And as always, thanks for looking in. Please like, subscribe, please comment. That's always welcome. And I will see you on the next video. So it remains me to say thanks, stay safe, and I will see you very soon. Cheers now.